Hey everybody, welcome to Rage Cage, the premier place where geeks can come and settle their most trickiest questions with lots of yelling. This week, it's the Illuminerdi Sam Locke going head-to-head with Brandon Zachary to talk about two of the most powerful universes in fiction history. The warriors of Dragon Ball and the heroes of DC have broken planets and have saved entire multiverses. But which universe is entirely too powerful? DC or Dragon Ball?
The heroes of the DC universe are inherently pretty powerful, but it's inherent to their character and their roles and their stories about how strong they are. It's almost necessarily a limit to what they can do and what they necessarily want to do. Someone like Superman can literally move the planet out of its system if he wants to. He could be king, he could be God, he could play Xbox all his life if that's what he really wanted. But it's his choice of what he wants to do with that extreme power that defines him and defines the kind of events that happen to him. That's the crux of Superman stories, that's the crux of Wonder Woman stories, that's the crux of Green Lantern stories, of Flash stories. Of the DC universe as a whole, a lot of the argument can be made that they have the power of gods, but they're trying to live by the morals of man. And that gives them a purpose within the stories to be that powerful. Dragon Ball has an escalation problem, where Dragon Ball sets itself up to, this guy can blow up a planet. And then it goes, okay, we'll beat that guy. All right, well then this guy can blow up 2 planets. And then it gets to a point where, like, not only is every previous story somewhat almost invalidated because the threats are so minuscule by this point, like nobody gives a shit about Marpa anymore, the power scale of the universe just becomes based on who is better at punching right now. DC at least justifies its overpoweredness in a way that Dragon Ball never does.
Okay, the problem with DC is that literally every single person with powers is just, like you said, gods among men, basically. And yeah, I understand that, you know, sure, they're trying to live among mortals and everything else, but we're talking about raw objective power here. Now, the internet, the wise internet, as it always is and always will be, I suppose, they've done the matchup between Superman and Goku countless times, and every single time, Superman ends up winning against Goku. And they, you know, you can go to whatever links you want to find out. But basically, the general consensus is that Superman always wins. Here's the thing. In the Superman world, there are more powerful people than Superman. And if Superman can beat Goku, and there's a bunch of people in the DC world that can beat Superman, by default, DC is the more powerful, overpowered universe. Because, I mean, imagine you as a human against Superman. No chance. I mean, at least a human maybe be able to beat Krillin. Just saying.
All right, I take offense to that as the internet's leading Krillin defender.
I know they can at least beat Yamcha. Just saying.
So remember though that when Raditz is introduced at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, he's a dude who can catch bullets and then flick them such a strength and speed that they act like they were just shot out of a gun. Raditz. Dragon Ball is operating on a completely different level because you're looking at planet bursters on a massive scale. You're looking at people like Goku, Vegeta, Beerus, Trunks. Like, Dragon Ball has inherently all these planet-busting, crazy, over-the-top, powerful figures who no one else can compete with. Most of the people who are involved in the Tournament of Power in Dragon Ball Super are way outclassed by literally half, like, people like Goku can just power up and it sends you flying off to your death. The DC universe, yes, there are some people who can beat Superman in very specific means and very specific measures who do stand a chance of defeating Superman. But these characters also tend to have unique abilities in a way that I think Dragon Ball doesn't. Whereas Dragon Ball will have strange powers here and there, there is a difference between how, say, Wonder Woman's going to fight to Green Lantern's going to fight to Flash is going to fight. Like, Darkseid operates and fights, carries himself into a fight differently than almost any other character in the DC universe. There's a variety to the powers. There's a variety to the use of the powers. They can bounce off each other in different ways. There are ways for humans to beat Superman. Kryptonite. Goku has no kryptonite.
The variety of powers is irrelevant. We're talking in terms of absolute power. Now, yes, Goku can sit there, destroy worlds with ease. So can Superman. That's not necessarily a good benchmark in terms of destruction. But let's talk about how the DC universe can literally destroy not just the universe, but entire timelines, entire spaces, entire globes and galaxies. How many times have we sit there and said the universe is literally at stake and it could be destroyed, or entire timelines easily created and destroyed through the sheer raw power of people in the DC universe? The thing is, sure, yes, people in Dragon Ball Z can blow up planets and have blown up planets, but they haven't gotten to anywhere near the size of destroying the universe at large or any timeline past, present, or future. DC has done this multiple times. Like, there are people with powers like Mixed Picklips that can literally bend time and reality and space, and it's essentially a humanoid infinity gauntlet, basically. Like, you just can't come up to terms in that sheer raw power in Dragon Ball universe.
Doesn't then that inherently mean, though, that the heroes of the DC universe aren't overpowered because they continue to run into threats and crises that are bigger than them? They are problems that they have to contend with. They have to come together with. They have to be inventive about. They have to figure out how to deal with. Unlike Goku, and who the greatest challenges he ever ends with tend to end with still, I'm going to punch you and hit you with a spirit bomb. The DC heroes have so much more scale and scope to their threats. There are so much more damaging and destructive forces that they have to contend with. Force them to be unique in the application of their abilities. The DC heroes deal with a completely different kind of threat and a different kind of problem than the Dragon Ball heroes do, forcing them to utilize their unique abilities in different ways. That inherently means that they're not overpowered. They're always still a genuine protagonist with a threat of, I don't know, maybe they're not going to get out of this one. Every story, the protagonist is typically going to win, but with Dragon Ball, that's more obvious, because it's going to be, hey, can Goku punch that thing a little bit harder than usual? Okay. Superman runs into so many threats that are, you can't punch it. And he has to figure out how to contend with it beyond that. And that, to me, and I believe inherently, makes him a more compelling and character to deal with a variety of problems that make him less overpowered and less obvious.
The overall arcing argument here is which universe is more powerful, DC or Dragon Ball. And if you're talking about how Superman's already ridiculously more powerful than Goku, that means even the bad guys are also more powerful than Goku, which makes it overpowered by design. And because of that, if Superman can indeed beat Goku, and Superman already has trouble with people even more powerful than him that also transcend time, space, location, or whatever beyond what mere mortals can describe, that means that DC is indeed overpowered.
Superman's greatest nemesis is not the god of evil that can wreck realities. Superman's greatest foe is not the anti-monitor who literally destroys realities casually. His greatest nemesis is Lex Luthor, a dude he could pancake into a blood splatter with a flick of his wrist. But Luthor is always challenging him in new ways, forcing him to reflect on his own ideas and possibilities. That's the idea behind the power levels of DC. It is not overpowered if your character is then forced into conflicts that they can't just punch their way through. It creates a compelling and unique storytelling device. It creates a world where this power can exist. And it doesn't mean that it's too much, it just means that they have to be creative with it.
Who do you think won that one? I know what I'm saying, but I'm going to go on social media and cast my vote, and you should too. Check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the Illuminerdi. Go check it out. Also, if you want to catch up on some of our past debates, it's right here on this channel. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.